So this is a little sensitive session today, and I would recommend you that every sensitive thing that I'm going to tell you today has certain remedies, certain pariharas, certain homas. So please do not get scared. If you have placement of this particular combinations in anybody's horoscope at your home, within your family, within your friends. So don't panic, okay? And I will give you the exact remedies and pariharas. But then, as the students of Shiv Mahapuran, and why Shiv Mahapuran is known as Mahapuran, because it has essence of all the other 17 Puranas. It has essence of Garud Puran also, and Vishnu Puran also, and so many things. So today, the topic for today is Panchak Nakshatras that are being explained. When you are born in Panchak and when you die in Panchak, what happens, what we are supposed to do, what all challenges come in your life when you are born with Panchak, or when you start a journey in Panchak Nakshatras, or when you start something new in the Panchak Nakshatras. What are the precautions, and what all things happen in the Panchak Nakshatras, right? So, out of the 30 days of the lunar month, 5 days, ladies and gentlemen, are the Panchak days. Okay, 5 days. So, whenever Chandra is transiting in Dhanishta, Satabhisha, okay, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttra Bhadrapada, and the Revati Nakshatra. It is known as the Panchak Nakshatras. Just give me a second, please. Yeah, I'm sorry. So we're talking about the Panchak, nakshatras and the 5 days of the Panchak. Ladies and gentlemen, you must have heard that when someone expires, when someone dies, the family members and everyone ask you whether the death is in the Panchak or not. So, how to know whether the death is in the Panchak or not? All you have to do is you have to check the nakshatra on that day. Okay. If the nakshatra is Dhanishta, Satabhisha, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, and Revati on a particular day, then the death is the Panchak death. Okay. It is not considered auspicious. It is a terrible scenario, and not only for the family where the death has happened, but for the native himself, for the deceased himself, because soul is really, really in trouble, and there are karmic associations and problems, and there are problems with the gati means the speed. Gati means when you go to a different loka, and you are gati, the element which is responsible for gati is vayu. It is the Vayu Tattva. Okay. So the uh, for death, it is Agni which is responsible. So after death, if Agni does not accept, okay, then people I have seen getting back to their life on the cremation bed. So you must have heard, this person was dead, and then when we went for the cremation, the person got up. That means the Agni Devta did not accept him. But if the Agni has accepted and burnt the body, then it is the duty of the Vayu Devata to give you the Gati. Okay, it's the Vayu. And so if the Vayu Devata does not give you the Gati, which means Saturn and Rahu is not supportive, then you will find lot of problems. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, these nakshatras are in the 11th house of the Kalpurusha, which belongs to Rahu. And these nakshatras, Dhanishta, Satabisha, and Puru Bhadrapada, they are eighth from the fourth house. So this is like a death of the family. It is eighth from the fourth house for a native. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, it is said that if someone dies in this nakshatra in the family, 5 family members will die within 24 months. 5 family members will die within 24 months. Now, that could be your entire lineage, not just your immediate family. So these people can be from the family of your brother, sister, or the word that we use lineage, or in India we use the word khandan, right? तो आपके खानदान में से, from the lineage, there are chances of minimum 5 deaths, right? If the parihara, if the remedy during the death is not done properly, right? One after the other, between 24 months to 36 months. That means 2 to 3 years, the 5 members of the family will die. Because this is a curse straight away coming from these 5 nakshatras: Dhanishta, Satabhisha, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, and Revati. These are the last 5 nakshatras and cursed nakshatras for death. There are mythological stories behind them, which is an assignment for you, right, to understand. But at this point of time, you need to note down. So if anyone around you in your neighborhood or within your relatives or friends, there is a death, and on that very day, moon is in Dhanishta, Satabisha, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttar Bhadrapada, or Revati, you as an students of Shiv Mahapuran, as an student of astrology, will have to conscious them. It becomes your karma also. Until you were not aware, it was fine. Now that you are aware of the Panchak death, you need to be very, very conscious around you. If you can give some suggestion, please tell them that the death is on the day of Panchak. Extremely important. Your karma is extremely important, to tell, to guide someone around you. And there is no fee, there's no consultation, nothing to be taken, while guiding someone. You see, sometimes people want to book a consultation to understand the process of Panchak, that the person died on Panchak, we could not do certain remedies. What further? So I'll tell you, if at the time of the death, the remedies are not done, what are we supposed to do? Right? Many people from different religions will come up and say, oh, we never knew in the Sikh Dharam, in the Christianity, in the Muslim Dharam, they don't know. And they start suffering. One of the other death is happening. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, Guruji, there's no death happening. But there are death-like situations. There is extreme amount of suffering will start coming after someone has died in the Panchak. At times, the longevity of the family is good. At times, the family is a Shiva Bhakta. They have been doing their Mahamrityunjayas and they have been going to the Gaushala. They have been feeding cows. So feeding cows give you long life. Even I have seen people who have their horoscope been concluded at the age of 65 or 62. They are at the age of 78, 80. And the only remedy they have done in their life is visiting Gaushala every day and feeding cows with their own hands. So, अगर किसी को you know मृत्यु योग लग जाता है, if someone is getting a death yoga, the only remedy is to go and tell them that they should offer the salt, okay, the red salt or the sea salt to the cows equal to the weight of the deceased or the person who is a patient or who is about to die. So if someone is at the age of 80, 85 and he's 90 kgs and you want him to survive, just go to the Gaushala and donate 90 kgs of salt immediately. It helps the person to survive, right? It will prolong. But if the death is so severe that there are no chances and Mahadev has completely made his mind that no remedy will work, it is his prarabdha and this person has to go, then nothing will work. But if there is 1% scope where he or she can get another 5 years because of his karmas, he will get it. Okay, so if you want to prepare, at this age to live a long life, if you have ample money, if you want your children, you want to see your children to grow and you want to play with your grandchildren, and you think that you can happily take your, your budhapa or your old age, a lot of people don't want to take their old age, right? They don't want to live their old age. And, so that is the time that you should start going to the Gaushala, go to the, place where you have cows and start serving them. So I'm talking about Panchaka and longevity. On the same time, the birth at the day of Panchak is also not considered good. Now there is a science behind the death. So ideally, people born in the Dhanishta, and you know what? There are some classics that say that only the last 2 padas of the Dhanishta that fall in the Aquarius is counted in the Panchaka, not the first 2 padas of the Dhanishta Nakshatra. But some classics are saying that the entire Dhanishta Nakshatra is to be considered, for the Panchaka. So technically, I would say you to consider the entire Dhanishta Nakshatra, but I have few references where they say the last 2 padas of the Panchaka. So when moon is in the 3rd pada of the Dhanishta or the 4th pada of the Dhanishta, only then the principle of the Panchak applies. But precautionary, we are in Kali Yuga. So I would tell you to take entire Dhanishta Nakshatra, right? Satabisha, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttar Bhadrapada, and Revati. And similarly, the birth, okay, the birth in these nakshatras also requires certain remedies, right? Just like death requires certain remedies, the birth will also 100% require, certain remedies. And Since you were a child, most of the people are in habit of doing only the Gandamula Puja. If you are born at the Gandhantas, that means if you are born at in the Janam Nakshatras of Mercury and Ketu, it is considered as Gandamula. Simple principle to remember. Anyone born in the nakshatra of Ashalesha, Jeshtha, and Revati, or born in the nakshatras of Ashwini, Magha, and Mula are known as Gandamul Puja, or they are Gandhanta Janmas. They are known as Gandamul Janmas. And puja within first 27 days or first 45 days is a compulsory thing. It is a long puja where you would require mud from 27 different temples, water from 27 different temples, and also, at least 6 different rivers water is required. But that is a long process. The Pandit, the Purohit will guide you for that. And they have arrangements and they do the arrangements by themselves. But at the similar level, if someone is born during the Panchak days, means these 5 nakshatras were active, or any one nakshatra was active, there is a special puja which is required, and I'll tell you about that puja and where it happens. That also I'm going to tell you, later in this class when I come to the remedies. But first, let me explain you what happens. Now, uh, you see, another problem that comes during the Panchak death is uh, such person does not attain salvations and their soul does not rest in peace. That is the biggest thing. So, you've heard of souls getting into Pishacha. They take temporary bodies. They, torture themselves and torture others also. And most of the Pishachas, if, you speak to a Ghoris or the people who can connect to the soul, they will tell you that the death of that native is in the Panchaka. So attaining salvation and attaining Gati is the major problem. And that is why the soul wants more people to join. So soul wants more souls to be there because the soul is not moving on. And that soul actually is telling those 5 nakshatras again and again to take another 5 people with them. So that is why these 5 people are actually, they die. So what happens is that, during the death, okay, so you will make 5 mannequins, or you can say, 5 putles, small mannequins with the floor, okay, using the floor, using the atta, or uh, you use grass, right? And they are cremated with the body. Okay, they are cremated with the body. So if a Pandit comes at your home and you tell him that the death is in the Panchaka, so they will make those 5 mannequins and they will cremate it with the body. There is a big, protocol that I'm going to tell you, that you are not supposed to make those 5 mannequins with your own hands. You only ask the Purohit or the Karam Kand Pandit to do it, right? You are not supposed to make them, and you can hold them in your hand, put them on the body, whosoever is doing the karma, but you are not supposed to make it with your own hands. Okay, I'm very, very clear on this. Only there are category of the Pandits or Brahmins who are allowed to do it. Not all Brahmins will also do. I must tell you that. So if you call a normal, Brahmin from a temple, he's not going to do it. There's a Karamakandi who has been allowed for these things, will only be able to do it. So make sure that you don't participate in, atta gundne mein. You don't participate in, preparing those, mannequins. So don't do that. Okay, only the Brahmin or the Purohit is allowed. And the most important thing is that when this particular parihara is happening, all the family members should be present. So I give you a small scenario. Now, very important, these people, lot of pandits will not guide you on this. There was a death in the family and the child was abroad, and the death happened in during the Panchaka. So they preserved the body for 3 to 4 days for the children to come from the abroad. And when they're cremating these 5 putlas or mannequins with the during the cremation, the entire family has to be present. Someone who is missing in the family will get the curse. It is clearly written in the Purana, right? Is someone who is missing. So if there is a Panchak death, you can hold the body until the entire family is gathered. It's not like, okay, you are coming tomorrow, we are cremating him today, and then you come and join the other final rituals. Please don't do that. You got to be very, very cautious about this thing, right? Am I clear? Right? So you need that the entire family should be there. Okay. And during the Pitru Tarpan or the Shrad Puja, again, same 5 dolls or mannequins are to be created. Again, when you go to Haridwar or any other religious place where you do the final rituals, the Gati, there also you tell them that the death is a Panchak death, and they will make again the 5 dolls or the 5 mannequins, so that so Panchak Puja is not only done at the time of the cremation, but at the time of Shraddha, at the time of the Gati that you done. So at that time also it is done. And once the Sutak is over, a lot of people have Sutak for 13 days. A lot of people in South India has it for 40 days. So it is based on your own tradition. So ideally, I would recommend that after 40 days, now this is very, very important. You make a star and write down that after 40 days, you will call a Pandit at home and ask him to make a temporary shivling at your home and do a Rudra Abhishekam at your home. And then that shivling could be a mud shivling. The Pandit would make it at your home, a mud kind of a shivling, and you do a Rudra Abhishekam on that shivling. And this is a compulsory thing after 40 days, right? I mean, you can do it within next 40 days after the 40 days. So that is from 40 to 80 days. Okay. It is a must thing. And that Rudra Abhishekam has to be done on Amavasya. Okay. It has to be done on the day of Amavasya or Purnima. But the good thing would be, the first one would be Amavasya. Okay. And when the Rudra Abhishekam is done, after that, you should do a Havan that performs Nakshatra Shanti Puja. Okay. Nakshatra Shanti Puja for, eradicating the malefic effects of the Panchak dosha. So if the death has happened in the Panchak dosha, so this is required. Okay. If especially out of all these 5 Panchak nakshatras, Purva Bhadrapada, make a note, very, very important. If the death has happened in the Purva Bhadrapada nakshatra, then the family members should donate, a brass pot. Okay, gadvi, brass ki gadvi le lijiye, and it is full of black and white sesame seeds combined. So a brass pot to be donated. Okay. And so ideally there are certain things very, very severe written in the Garud Puran also. Garud Puran says that if someone dies in the Panchak, then the house should be closed for 6 months, which is practically not possible in the Kali Yuga. Right? तो वो 6 महीने के लिए घर ही बंद करने को कहते हैं. It is considered such an unauspicious death. Okay. Now, one remedy. Suppose all these things were not performed. All these things will not perform. The entire family member will start facing death-like situations. The new generation, children born can be autistic. Children born can have lot of low confidence. There's no confidence in the children. They may not grow very well. So the remedy for this is to perform Narayan Bali Puja. Okay. Now this Narayan Bali Puja happens, people in the south would know it. People who are living in the south, it happens at two places. One is at Gokunda, which is a place in, I think it's around Karnataka, on the beach. And the second is Triambakeshwara, very Jyotirlinga, Triambakeshwara. So you can do the Narayan Bali Puja or the Naga Bali Puja. So these two pujas are to be done. Anyone who is suffering from severe ancestral curse, Shiva says that you have to request Vishnu, Narayan, and you have to get the Narayan Bali Puja done. Right? People go to Gaya for the Pitri Dosha Nivaran, but based on the Garud Purana and the Shiv Mahapurana, the Narayan Bali Puja has the highest priority. Okay, so Narayan Bali has to be done, or the Naga Bali has to be done at the Triambakeshwara specifically. So you need to go to Triambakeshwara, right? And, to be very honest, if the death is a suicide, or it is a snake bite, or it is a murder, or it is an electric shock, right? Or it is a fall from a building or a mountain, then there are no Vedic rituals to elevate the effects of the Panchak death. Then they don't do any other rituals. Then means there's unnatural death. Then you straight away go to Narayan Bali, right? And then to Triambakeshwara and get the remedies done there. Okay, get the remedies done there. So suicide or unnatural death or an accidental death, people usually, they do those 5 dolls and many queens, with them. They do it, right? Let them do it. But going to Triambakeshwara becomes extremely important. You cannot miss it. Doing Narayan Bali there or Naga Bali, or you can do it at Gokunda, right? So Gokunda is in the Karnataka, in the south. So these are clearly mentioned thing. You know what? It's the person who's gone is gone, but the family members would really suffer, would really, if not death, then financial losses, confidence is gone. Yeah. Yeah. So it is Gokarna. There. It is in Karnataka, Bhargavi, right? So they can go to Gokarna and, so they can get it done there. Okay. But more than Gokarna, you can also go to Triambakeshwara. Triambakeshwara, this Narayan Bali and Naga Bali is done. Right? And it really, really helps, people who've done this. Right? So the next thing is about the birth. If someone is born in these Panchak Nakshatras. So the first is the Dhanishta Nakshatra, and people born in the Dhanishta Nakshatra, they might get physical disabilities in their midlife or in their early life. People born in the Dhanishta, they will always have at least one fracture in their body in their one birth. Either the leg will get fracture, or the arm will get fracture, or they will have disabilities. And people born in the Dhanishta should go to Triambakeshwara and get the Nagabali Puja done. Okay, they will feel confident. People born in the Purva Bhadrapada, will always have conflicts with their families. They will face extreme amount of issues in their family life, right? So these are some of the problems with born in the Panchak Nakshatras. People born in the Satabisha may have number of health issues. People born with Janma Nakshatra, moon in the Satabisha, you will see if they get a disease, right? They will have to visit at least 100 doctors. They will have to. This is because Satabisha is a 100-star constellation. So it is said when you meet the 100th doctor, then the medicine will help you. So you need to visit 100 doctors from different places to get out of the situation. Get the Nagabali and Narayan Bali done, right? People born in the Uttar Bhadrapada, they will always face heavy financial losses. Their financial stability will always be in trouble. Please send them to Triambakeshwara immediately. Tell them to do a Rudrabhishekam. Tell them to do a Nagabali. Tell them to do a Narayan Bali there. Irrespective of a death or a birth, please send them. People born in Uttara Bhadrapada, people born in Revati, again, business losses, job loss, financial loss, loss of the status is seen with the people, and it keeps coming, keep coming, keep coming. So these are, the problems that are to be, taken care of. Now, there are other pariharas and other things, before are to be done. Suppose you are traveling in the Panchak Nakshatra. Now, at times you are into work, you are into business, and there's an important business meeting, and you know that you're going to travel in the Dhanishta Nakshatra or in the Satabisha or Pura Bhadrapada, Uttar Bhadrapada or Revati. What you're supposed to do? One, traveling towards south is a big no-no. If you are traveling towards south direction, when the moon is in these 5 nakshatras, try to avoid. Try to avoid. Okay, but if you still have to go, it's an urgent business meeting. Under those circumstances, the first thing you should do is you should go to Hanuman Mandir and offer yellow and red fruits to Hanumanji and offer some yellow or red sweets to Hanumanji. Okay, this is very important if you're traveling in the Panchak Nakshatra. Offering sweets in a Hanumanji's temple is very, very important. Especially when you buy anything wooden, maybe a wooden furniture or maybe a sofa or anything wooden table or doors or any renovation at home where you're buying wooden things, it is a huge no. It's a big no. During these 5 nakshatra, you know, uh, days, you're not supposed to buy anything wooden. And by mistake, if you've bought it and you were not aware of it, right? By mistake, somebody has gifted you a wooden thing on the Revati Nakshatra day or Pura Bhadrapada, Uttar Bhadrapada, then you are supposed to do a homa, a havan of the Gayatri mantra, at least 10 malas of Gayatri mantra havan. Tat savitur varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat swaha. So you have to give at least 1008 ahutis. That is required. Now, no construction should be started during these nakshatras. Especially in India, we, construct rooftops. There is a day during one day, jisko bolte hai lentil dalna, So you should never ever construct, because in India, the rooftop is done within 1 or 2 days. जिसको लेंटर डालना बोलते हैं. So you're not supposed to construct rooftop on the day of the Panchak Nakshatras. Extremely, extremely and a strict rule and a strict instruction. Okay, so that is something that you are supposed to uh, take care in your mind. Okay, uh, if the Panchak Nakshatra has started, like Dhanishta, Satabisha has started, don't ever fuel your, you know, vehicles. I usually never fuel my vehicles. Usually my habit is to, fuel my vehicle tank full all the time, right? But only in case of emergency, you can refuel your vehicles. Do not refuel your vehicles on the Panchak Nakshatra days. Okay? Any financial transaction, taking money and lending money, it is not considered very auspicious on the day of Panchak. And if you've done that, it is where you are forced to do this thing. Then get the Gayatri, mantra havan done on the day of the Panchak. Okay. Uh, also, abstain from traveling to the hills, abstain from traveling to the south, right? And avoid any housewarming or any bhumi pujan, that particular day. Extremely, extremely important that you follow, these protocols. On the same time, it is recommended that you go and get the Narayan Bali Puja done. So in the Narayan Bali Puja, the first they do the Sankalpam. So you make sure that uh, you know that these steps are to be done in the Narayan Bali Puja, because if you don't know these steps, then maybe a Pandit can fool you. It is done in the Gokana. Either you go to Gokana, or you Gokarna, or you can go to Triambakeshwara. Okay, so Triambakeshwara is very good for Nagbali and Narayan Bali Puja. First, take the Sankalpa. Taking Sankalpa is very, very important. Then they do the Ganpati Puja. Okay, and then you do the Pritha Sankalpam, okay, which is again about the ancestors. Then you do Kalash Thapana. So Kalash, you understand what is a Kalash? It's like a pot that they do with coconuts, and make sure you take 2 coconuts and at least a kg of desi ghee along with you when you go for the Narayan Bali Puja. And then Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Yama, Savitra Devata, Avahan. Avahan means you call them, they should sit and take that. And then the Narayan Bali Homa is performed, and it should be performed by a Brahmin. It is not to be performed by you yourself. Okay. And then the Narayan Bali Homa is performed by the Karta. So first the Pandit will do it. Now he will make you do it. And then the Prashchita, Homa is performed. Means forgiveness, realization for some bad karma because of which the death has happened. Then the Pindadana is done. So again, so this is the next step. Okay. And then the Tripindi Shrad, for getting rid of, any sort of curses. Tripindi Shraddha is to be done. Okay. And so this is what you're supposed to do. And Shrimad Bhagavad Purana has a complete chapter on Gokarna. Okay, they also said it Gokunda or Gokarna. So Shrimad Bhagavad Purana has complete chapter about this. Okay. And when you are supposed to do, what are the auspicious days for the Narayan Bali Puja? Pitru Paksha is very auspicious during the Shraddhas. When you have these days, 17, 16 days before the Navratris, that those days, Shraddha Paksha, Amavasya, Purnima, so Amavasya, Purnima, and Shraddha days are the days for the Narayan Bali Puja. In case they are very far away and there is an emergency to do it, then when you can do. So Shukla Paksha Ashtami Tithi to Purnima days. So you can start from the Shukla Ashtami Okay, Ashtami, Navami, Dashmi, Ekadashi, Dwadashi, Triyodashi, Chaturdashi, and Purnima. So from Shukla Ashtami to Purnima, you can get this thing done. And in the Krishna Paksh, Panchami Tithi to Amavasya, 11 days. Panchami Tithi of the Krishna Paksha to the Amavasya, 11 days you can get this Narayan Bali or the Nagabali Puja done. Okay. So 1 kg pure ghee, 1 kg, you know, black, there are gingerly seeds. They'll tell you, or the Pandit will give you, they are compulsory, and 2 coconuts. This is to be taken. Okay. So what are the benefits? If you have Pitri dosha or anyone born in the family with these nakshatras, and there's any death, if you do the Narayan Bali Puja, what all things will happen in your life after the puja? All the ancestral curses will be gone. Okay. Problems like marriage not happening, daughter is sitting at the age of 34, 35, it is usually because of the Panchak Puja or the ancestral curse. Childbirth delays will be gone, financial troubles will be gone, and ill health will be gone. Okay. The ancestors will remain in lot of peace. The negative effects, the negative energy at home will be gone, and all the bad spirits or black magic done on you will also be taken care by the Narayan. So these are some of the important information that you should have with you as the students of Shiv Mahapuran. If you see a childbirth in these nakshatras, or if you see a death, these are the guidance, pointers that you should be telling, people. And if there are no deaths, there are no physical deaths, definitely there can be, death like sufferings in their home, in their family, financial curses, financial problems, ill health. A lot of people come and tell me, Guruji, there's nothing coming in the reports, nothing. You ask them that, was there a death in the family? They would say, yes, there were last 2 years, there's one death. Ask them the date. Open the Panchanga, see the that Panchanga that day, that what was the nakshatra that day. So if you think that was out of these 5 nakshatras, Panchak nakshatras, immediately refer the person to Gokarna and Triambakeshwara. You can get this puja done at both the places, whichever is convenient, either one of them or the both, so you can, depending upon the severity. But I have seen great results in the Triambakeshwara, right? Triambakeshwara Nagabali Puja is something that Rachna is saying, thank you, Guruji. My tuition was constantly telling me to get Narayan Bali for my son. Now, with the wisdom shared, it's authenticated. He is Danishta and I'm Satabisha. Please, Rachna, you go. The suffering will be over. Go to Triambakeshwara, go to Gokarna, go to both places and get the Nagabali and the Narayana Bali Puja done. So Nagabali is specifically for financial problems and loss of confidence. If you're running a huge business and you've lost your confidence completely, right? Your decision making is gone for a 6. Under those circumstances, you're supposed to, and why these 5 nakshatras? Because it is a simple thing, right? From the Lagna, it is the 12th, and from the family, it is the 8th nakshatra from where the Panchaka started, So the Lagna takes a hit and the family takes a hit. 8th and the 12th house. So 8th house from the family and the 12th house from the Lagna is extremely difficult when the death happens there. And Jyotisha has always taken the inputs from the Kalpurush Kundli. They have never taken inputs from anyone else. So that is where the whole Kundlis. So should we do 2 separate for each of us? Ideally, yes, 2 separate Narayan pujas and Nagabali pujas to be done for each of you, right? And also, I would want you to do your Ayush, puja. So once you've done this, everyone make a big star, right? Once this Narayana Bali and Nagabali is done, then you people go to Somanath. Okay, go where? Go to Somanath, and you should reach Somanath a day before your Janma Nakshatra. Okay, a day before your Janma Nakshatra. And on the day of your Janma Nakshatra, you are supposed to get a Ayush Puja done there. Which puja? Ayush Puja. Okay, which is for your health and longevity. Okay, but Ayush Puja only happens on the day of your Janma Nakshatra. So if you go any other day, the Pandit will send you back and he will ask you to come back on the day of your Janma Nakshatra. So if it is Satabisha for you, then you travel during the Shravana, reach there on Dhanishta, and then get it done on the day of Satabisha. Okay, extremely important. Okay, Ayush Puja will give you long life and will take you out from the ancestral curse. And Ayush Puja can be done for anyone. Okay, specifically there if there are sufferings, and specifically if there are Pitri doshas in the Navamsh Kundli or in the Lagna Kundli. So Pitri dosha is not to be seen from the Lagna. Pitri dosha is to be seen from both the charts, from the D1 and the D9. Okay, I'm telling you this secret. So a lot of people will come and tell me, oh Guruji, I have no Pitri doshas in the D1. You can have Pitri doshas in the D9. Just give me a minute, please. Okay, so Ayush Puja. Okay, my son is constantly unwell, very low immunity. Will do it. Thank you for the enlightenment. Really blessed. Yeah. तो देखो जो जब होना होता है ना रचना, right? And yeah, my son Ayush is born in Uttar Bhadrapada. So एकता ये सारी चीजें ना important है आप लोगों को करने के लिए. और अभी जैसे आपको भगवान ने ही अब मेरे सोमनाथ विजिट के बाद मेरी पहली दिस इज माय फर्स्ट क्लास आफ्टर सोमनाथ एंड आई हैव द instructions from Mahadev to give you all these things, right? It is a little sensitive topic, but I really wanted to give you, this. And I think that's it for today. If you have any questions regarding this particular lecture, please ask. Yes, Saurabh ji.
Guruji, I had heard that Narayan Bali Puja should be done like together with the family, not like just go and do yourself.
It
Is
has to
that
be part of the family. At least your family should be there. If you are married, then husband, wife, and children should sit. As I said,
okay?
all these, Panchak pujas and has to be done with the family. And you can take along maximum family members.
So it doesn't have to be everyone in the extended family,
No,
immediate
no, no, no.
family, yes.
You have no control over extended family.
Exactly.
People will not come and they will have this and that drama. So if the death has happened in the home, then your family, or if the birth is, of a child is at home in these nakshatras, your family is enough.
And just last question is, do we have to do both separately, Nag Bali Puja and Narayan Bali Puja?
Yes, yes,
Or
both separate.
gotcha. Thank you.
What is the circumstance where my husband couldn't agree to then? Then don't take your husband, you and your son go. Ekta, you and your son go. No problem. If he doesn't agree, no issues. You go with your son. Or the Panchak Nakshatra will be applied for ascendant nakshatra as a extended nakshatra lord as well. No. Panchak only to be in the Chandra nakshatra, Janma nakshatra. Okay, not the ascendant nakshatra. Only Janma nakshatra. Yes, get both the puja. Narayan Bali and the Nag Bali. Guruji, at the Ambage, they say do puja every 3 years. Yes, Swapna. So to continue this thing, to remove the curse, they tell you to do every 3 months. I am aware of every 3 years. I'm aware of it. If you can do it, it is good. Ideally, in the Shastra says once. Once it is done, it is done. But they also have business. So if the Brahmins say come after 3 years, just do it. We are in Kali Yuga. The pariharas, the positive energy is very less, the negative energy is huge. Okay. All right. Chalo. That's it for today. Right. I hope it was an informative session and you really liked it. Right. And lot of knowledge, power packed today. Right. So you can guide a lot of people around you. So let's do our parampara. We'll say Om 3 times and 12 times Om Gurave Nama. Om. 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 Om Gurave Nama. 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 Aishman Bhava, Tejasvi Bhava, Vijay Bhava. Hare Krishna. Thank you.